I liked Color Splash a lot. If you like the Paper Mario games, you're going to like Color Splash a lot.
I disagree.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Keep going.
Okay. Well, if you liked, how about this? If you liked Sticker Star,
yes,
you're going to like Color Splash, because it's definitely like I talk about this in my review. It's not RPG-ish anymore. They've definitely like steered away from that. You still have the turn-based like timed attack battles, but there's no leveling up. There's no like inventory that you equip or anything like that. Your only inventory is your like list of cards, which function as your attacks, and those are something you collect and a finite resource. And I know that kind of bugged people the wrong way with Sticker Star because you were collecting stickers, which were your attacks. So it's the same system. So if that didn't bug you, then you'll love Color Splash.
Did you like Sticker Star?
I liked it.
Okay.
I think here's the thing. Like we have the Mario and Luigi games, which are like RPG Mario games.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with Paper Mario not being the RPG anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No.
So I'm like, I actually like the idea of like having a finite resource of like attacks and like how you use them and like being smart about like which moves you're going to use for this enemy so that you don't run out of attacks. And even if you do run out of attacks, you can like pay 10 coins and get a new card. And I had like maxed out my coins like a third of the way through the game, so that's not really an issue. Like you're never going to like end up in a battle and like, well, I can't win this because I don't have cards. So you don't have to worry about that. It's just, I think the fact that you don't have experience bugs people a lot.
Very much so. What did you end up giving this game?
I gave it an 8.25.
8.25. Wow.
That's right.
This is visually one of my favorite games I've ever seen. I think this game looks absolutely amazing.
Hyperbole.
No, dude, it looks so good.
I'm not going to go that far, but I do think it looks really good because it's all papercraft. It reminds me of Tearaway a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I think it looks better than Tearaway, actually. Well, yeah, because it's all made out of paper and like
it does look great though.
There's elevators that are like made out of, you can like see the edges of the cardboard, and there's like
the waves lapping on the shore, and it's just weird paper folding. It looks so
bushes, and like the bushes are kind of made out of like puzzle pieces,
different
things. I was like, oh, that's a really cool like touch. And the attacks look good. So, like, visually, yes, it's a really good
Also, they have,
game.
like, special cards, which they also had in Sticker Star, which will, much like South Park, completely change the art style, where it's like there's a lemon attack. If you have no interest in Paper Mario Color Splash, at least look up a YouTube video that's lemon attack, because it just cuts to, like, a beautifully rendered kitchen that looks lifelike on, like, a butcher block with, like, knives around it, and you're just, like, squirting this lifelike lemon into, like, Shy Guys' eyes. It is so cool looking.
Have you seen the plunger one? Yet?
I have that card, but I don't want to use it because I don't want to throw that card away forever. So you end up just stockpiling all that stuff like Mega Elixirs throughout the entire game.
Well, you can always go back to town. You can get more.
You can buy those super cards again?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
So
play the game
that's
right.
Another thing. You can buy pretty much any card in the game. Like there's a place in town which sells you cards, so you can just buy as many as you want. And since
hang on, they don't have the super cards there. I've never seen them there.
It's at a different place. I'll tell you. Like, there's a different place at the dock where you can buy the thing cards.
Okay.
So anyway, that's why I never had a problem with the card limited inventory thing. If anything, I was like cards in there that I was like, I just want to get rid of this card, and so I just like stockpile all the cards I actually want to have.
Yeah.
But yes, the game looks visually awesome. The thing that I think sold it for me was just like the Nintendo like touch of like humor, and their localization team is just amazing. It's like the jokes they come up with made me think like, is the Japanese version of this game as funny as this one? Because
I'm sure it's funny.
I'm sure there's like jokes that don't really translate, or like the puns they come up with are like, how did that work in Japan? You know,
it's like a tall order for localization for sure. It's got so much personality in there.
Right. There's so much personality and humor, and like every level you go in, you're doing something different. Like there's one like haunted mansion level where you go into the different like rooms and trying to help ghosts out and do a tea party. There's another one where you're like, this guy's like trying to sail across the world, and you're trying to like help him get across the water.
Right,
like there's one where you're like finding clothes for this guy who's like naked, that's still naked Toad. So like every level just has like its own like mini story associated with it. And like that was what really sold me on the game, was just like the humor, the story, the world exploration. This
is the most frustrating game I've played this year.
Really?
It makes me want to effing scream. It
But
makes
you're not
me
playing it
so
right.
mad. Yeah,
You don't know
right.
about the dock.
Oh, please,
Yeah,
because they
come on.
sell those cards down at the dock.
Go to the dock.
Okay.
Sitting on your plunger.
Systemically, it is garbage to me. Like the whole idea of like, oh, you're going and talking to these characters. That's all well and good. Having these one-offs, it's like, okay, that's fine. New adventures, new little areas that are bite-sized. They have combat in this game that you can get into to use cards, disposable cards, and then the outcome of that combat isn't any sort of progression. It's just to get more cards. It's just this circle and closed little loop that there's absolutely no point to. I think it's systemically a very, very stupid game.
Sure, like I complained about that in the review. Like the combat does feel a little superfluous, but you do pick up like the hammers, and which upgrade your like
Max Paint, but that's
Max
never
Paint.
really an issue.
Max Payne.
yeah.
Yeah, Max Paint too.
Because the other thing is like the color is being drained from the world, and so you're walking around each level trying to recolor everything,
Right. Which is
I
fine.
thought was a lot of fun.
It's fine. It's something just like, okay, have some sense of progression. I see a number go up at least for like the percentage that I have actually painted this world. But the rest is just like, it just seems like the most boneheaded decision. It's so tough because this game is so lovable in so many ways. Visually, it's great. I think comedically, it's really strong. At times, I think every line has to be a joke, which is a bit too much for my likes, but still absolutely amazing.
Uh-huh.
And then systemically on the RPG side, it's just, they whiff so fucking hard.
Wow.
It makes me so mad. It's
Can
like
we just flash hater above his head?
it feels like you're like falling in love with like a beautiful woman, and then you find out like on the third date that she's like a Holocaust denier. It's just like,
Whoa.
how can they get so close to this and then just botch it so hard?
So I take it you didn't like Sticker Star?
No, I didn't like Sticker Star.
Did you like Paper Jam?
Paper Jam, I also am not crazy about the Mario and Luigi games. Like, it's definitely closer and I think it's better, but I went back and played more Paper Jam because I hadn't finished it after being so frustrated by Color Splash. And going back to it, it's still like, I don't want to talk to any more fucking Toads. I have had it up to here. This game is just thousands and thousands of Toads. If you go back and look at the first two Paper Marios, it is absurd how creative those games are. Characters up the wazoo. It's so much variety, even amongst Toads. And now, with these RPGs, if you want to call them that, it's, hey, talk to 16 more Toads. Have at it. Hey, how about you go to a new area? We have 3 new Toads here. One has a green head. Check this out. It's fucking trash.
What would your
How many
score
times are
be?
we gonna have to beat this?
A lot.
podcast out?
I don't give scores, Reiner. I just complain.
I don't
But
give
it's so tough. But because again, like the tone and the spirit of it, it's so right on. But just missing that progression, it just makes for this weird game where you never get rhythm, you never get momentum. It's just a lot of talking. You go to a new area, talk to 6 more Toads. Okay, here's a little thing. Let's be confused about where to go because it's also a lot of puzzles in there, and I think they are not great puzzle designers.
Oh, that's right, because you're not a puzzle guy.
But it's just vague. It's like, where do you want me to go next? What the hell's going on? Huey's not saying anything. He says, like, go back down to the town, talk to some Toads. Like, I don't want to talk to any more fucking Toads.
You should go to the dock.
Yeah, you should go to the dock.
God.
Apparently, you never went to the dock.
More.
It is interesting because I definitely recommend like don't think of it as an RPG because it's not really an RPG anymore.
What is it?
I don't know.
It's a
more
Toad
like-
talking simulator that looks amazing, that has some funny puns in it.
almost like an adventure game.
Totally.
Yeah, because you're kind of wandering around, like you said, and you like go through an area, and you're like, oh, that unlocks this area now that I go to,
Right.
and kind of like that adventure, like story element to it.
Imagine a great adventure game where every character that you talk to is exactly the same.
with a fun combat element to it.
No,
that
it
is
just slows it down
a little
more.
superfluous.
And it's worse because it's like, okay, you get into random encounters, but instead of just mashing my way through it, now I have to sort through cards and go through an 8-step process to like flick them onto the screen to attack. So I have to worry about these disposable items at the same time as the combat just taking longer because instead of just hitting the hammer button, I now have to sort through my dumb cards to find the hammer button to then launch towards them and then time it beyond that. So it's taking something that's completely superfluous and making it even longer. It's so dumb,
Okay,
and they're so talented
we
over
get it.
there.
You have spit on me 3 times in your angry rant. If you're going to
Wow.
continue, you need to get me a towel.
Okay, that's
wait.
only fair.
Can you lose
Get him a towel.
fights?
Yes, you certainly can.
Okay,
Yeah.
so is there a sort of a tactical element to it of like, is the fun in it deciding what cards you want to use and stuff like that? Because you're not leveling up, right? You're not
No.
like, okay.
Yeah. There are some battles that you can just run from and you're fine. There are
Yeah.
a few battles where you have to do this battle
Like
to
a
complete
boss.
it, right? Well,
Okay.
yeah, and then a few others, but
Okay.
yeah, and then like I said, you collect the hammers, which upgrade your paint. You do get some other cards sometimes from battles that are maybe a little bit rarer, like buddy cards. But I mean, I'm not going to defend. Like, I think there is something lacking there with the fact that, like, I think if they had added an experience system where you're leveling up, that would have helped a lot.
They have the perfect structure for this game. It's the first 2 games. It's right there. It has progression. Just put other characters in there, learn abilities along the way. Like, there is a fun experience. And the idea that they just throw it away and just keep volleying these last 2 games out, Sticker Star and this one, where it's just like, what are you doing? It's like they're fighting with one arm behind their back. It's so frustrating to see that team wrangled in by this. And the reasons for it are more
you know the
frustrating.
reason?
Yes, they talk about it in the Iwata Asks for Sticker Star, how it's all Miyamoto, who all credit goes to Miyamoto, all hail Miyamoto, but it is the dumbest decision I think Miyamoto's ever made, the idea of stripping the RPG-ness out of the Paper Mario series. In fact, actually, if you guys are up
Play
for a
the new
little...
Star Fox? Oh.
well, come on.
Hey.
Hey-o.
If you guys up for a little fun here, if you want to go to Game Informer Show Theater, I actually have the Iwata Asks down here. Hang on a second. So in this version, Reiner, you're going to be playing, let's see, the writer on the game, who's Kudo is his name.
Okay.
Ben Reeves, you're going to be playing the producer Tanabe. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Reeves, you should play Iwata.
Oh, Iwata.
Yeah, and
All right.
Kyle, you'll be Tanabe. I'll be Ayama, who's the director.
So I'm Tanabe then.
You are Tanabe. Okay, so
Wait, I have like one line.
I know, but you really got to sell it. Okay,
I don't know who Kudo is.
he's the writer. He's the writer for Sticker Star. And I believe you
become
worked
a
on this
writer.
one
So
as
what
well.
is-
A writer
like-
of Mario games, what would that
So
be
where was like Tanabe? Like where's he from? Like what was he like as a kid?
He was the director of Super Mario Brothers 2.
Okay.
So he's a nice guy. All I know for sure about
Kyle.
these people is that they don't have Asian accents.
You know what's interesting,
Of
Kyle?
course.
He sounds exactly like Toad.
Oh, okay.
You know that voice.
don't.
Hey, maybe the guy who has one line should be doing Toad.
That's
here,
true.
all right?
Reiner, you're Toad. Wade,
What does
the
Toad
booth,
sound like, Kyle?
You want to back us up a little bit here?
Miyamoto's not even in this.
Oh, here we go.
He's not, but they talk about him. Here we go.
Really? Getting-
This
I
is
feel
music
like
from Color
I'm
Splash.
turning into Tanabe.
This is the Iwata Asks for Sticker Star, where they explain where all of Paper Mario went wrong. Ayuma, who's the director, Ayama. After E3, Miyamoto-san played the prototype and said it was just a port of the GameCube version.
I had heard that at first Miyamoto-san said that something like an RPG would be fine. So for a while, I thought that something like the previous one would be fine.
Mr. Iwata?
That must have meant that you.
No.
New.
Nope. Keep it straight. Keep it straight.
Oh, you want me to redo that line? Is that what you're
Please,
saying?
one more time.
That must have meant that you hadn't done much that was new.
Right. So we wondered what to do. Then the idea of us using stickers came up. If we're going to do that, then we might as well use stickers for the whole thing, including battles. And we decided to begin rethinking the game mechanics. Then about spring of 2011, we had Miyamoto-san look at the prototype.
And how was that?
Personally, I thought it was better than before, but it turned out to be no good.
He said it was boring. I remember that clearly.
Listening to you talk, it sounds like Miyamoto-san was a scary presence for the team.
Yeah, he was.
We have no shortage of the anecdotes in that nature. What we can reveal today are that only... wait, I'm sorry, can I redo
let's
that
back
line?
up.
We have no shortage of the anecdotes in that nature.
Anecdotes
Anecdotes in that nature. What we can reveal today are only a fraction of them.
saying he has an overwhelming amount of stories of them being scared S-less of Miyamoto. Anyways, go on.
Aside from us wanting to change the atmosphere a lot, there were two main things that Miyamoto-san said from the start of the project. It's fine without a story, so do we really need one? And as much as possible, complete it with only characters from the Super Mario world.
That's a difficult task. That's a difficult task. And this is why did you pick us for this? That's a difficult task. In some ways, that would be the exact opposite direction from recent games in the series.
Yes.
Yeah, with regard to the story, we did a survey over the Super Paper Mario 24 game in Club Nintendo 25, and not even 1% said the story was interesting. A lot of people said that the Flip 26 move for switching between the 3D and 2D dimensions was fun.
That project came together because of that idea. Kudo-san, you were in charge of the script, so what did you think about whether a story was really necessary or not?
I originally saw it in a way that's similar to Miyamoto-san. Personally, I think all we need to have... I think all we need is to have an object...
Objective.
blah, blah, blah. Personally, I think all we need is to have an objective to win the boss battle at the end of the game. I didn't think we necessarily needed a lengthy story like that in an RPG.
That was good. When it comes to characters in the session of Iwata Asks covering Super Mario Galaxy, Miyamoto-san...
Holy Lord, you guys.
No, we got it.
Hey,
Go.
we got it.
We got it. Go.
Hey, come
No,
on.
Have at it.
It's an 8-point font.
When it comes to characters in the session of... No, I can't even do it. What are you doing? Iwata Asks, covering Super Mario Galaxy, Miyamoto-san said that he was finally able to put the essence of Mario into words for the first time. He says that a Mario-like design follows from function.
Follows from function.
Follows from... What did I say?
Oh, you got it.
Oh,
I
okay.
was just emphasizing it for you.
So, when something otherwise comes into the mix, it doesn't feel right.
You understand the character from its design, like it has spikes, so stepping on it will hurt. But being unable to use new characters is pretty strict. Of course, we could not make any new enemy characters, and as for allies among the Super Mario characters, there's really only Toad in various colors.
Let's pause this for a second here. So Miyamoto says, hey, because in the Mario games, form follows function, which is great for platformers, going back to the earliest days of like, hey, make it look, make sure it has a purpose
I would
in
say
that
it's
whole
good for
system.
all video game genres, but go ahead.
RPGs?
If there, well, in a Mario RPG, if there's a spiked character, then you can't move your jumping move. I
Okay,
think
what
that's
about
good design.
NPCs you talk to? That's where they're applying this
Okay.
logic. That's where they're like, only use Super Mario World characters and populate an entire RPG with them? It's the worst idea. It's just applying it to the wrong
So
genre.
this is post Super Paper
Well,
Mario, then, right? Because they had
yes,
new
this is
characters
Sticker
in that
Star.
game.
They had a bunch of new
Correct.
characters there. They had a bunch of new characters in the first couple of Paper Mario games.
Yes, it's nonstop.
so what happened here is Miyamoto said, "Don't do that anymore."
Right.
Okay.
Go only use, if at all possible, Super Mario World characters. Anyways, Kudo, pick it back up. Wait in the
Okay.
booth. Music. Here we go.
But personally, the more restrictions there were, the more excited I got. They may look the same, but we put in some elements in which their personalities are slightly different. So you can tell the difference and you think, hey, are you that Toad from back then? Toward the end of development, I could feel that I became one with Toad.
You can't forget them. Like when they have a bad personality, even though their faces are the same.
In addition to red, there are blue and green Toads. However, we held all but the red one in reserve, so we had to think carefully over when to use them. When we decided to put the Ranger 27 in the forest, there was a weird vibe, like, Green Toad, you're up.
That's right. At first, we were making a lot of individual allies, as in a regular RPG, but when we decided to focus on stickers in order to make a clear change with previous games in the series, it was like we started all over again by throwing out the system, including those characters that we had made up to that point.
Oh, you purposely threw out the basic RPG structure.
Yes. We decided to make it so that players would face stronger opponents by throwing out the whole concept of experience points and levels in favor of gradually gathering stronger stickers. I had actually been thinking for a long time that I wanted to get rid of the RPG experience points. In the freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land game, okay, which Kudo-san and I worked on together, the player character didn't develop at all. We adopted a system whereby they solved everything with money. Just like real life. No, there were times when Miyamoto-san
Hey, Kyle, is that still you? Yes, it is.
It is still you.
Continue on.
Yeah, I can read. No, there were times when
just checking.
Miyamoto-san has really gotten angry at me. Like about the treatment of Bowser. But the Super Mario games have an unorthodox lineage that Miyamoto-san thought up as its creator. So while Paper Mario, as part of that, must preserve certain things, I think there is a point to tackling new and unusual things.
All right. And scene.
Scene.
Smooth job.
That is the history straight from Nintendo about the terrible decisions that were made along the way to end up with the Paper Mario Color
All right.
Splash, which has its charm and Reeves likes.
I guess you're right. It sucks.
I'm just saying, I love the Iwata Asks, and this is one of my favorites, just for showing that, like, yeah, Miyamoto like sets down rules, which I'm all for, and the idea of like, hey, let's do something new, let's try and be minimalist. I think we can be creative within that space. That sounds great. I'm glad they're excited about it, but intelligent systems can do such amazing things. They
Yeah, it
don't
was
have
the
to
wrong
follow
call.
this.
Yeah.
I wonder if they are. I'm hoping that they're getting over that fear of introducing new characters, like following
Yes.
Splatoon. Like
Right.
I wonder if like they'll be willing to kind of inject more characters, because you even look at
But
stuff
this is
like
the Mario universe, you know?
yeah, but you even look at stuff like Mario Sunshine and like Super Paper Mario, and the new characters in that game were like geometric shapes and blobs. Like
Yeah.
they were like
Yes.
they couldn't really go much further than that, you know.
It almost seems like they're trying to treat it more like Mickey Mouse, where that is a very small clubhouse of
Or
characters,
Popeye.
right? Yeah, like you cannot expand that too much. You know, when's the last time they introduced new characters into Mickey?
It's fair because Sonic really went that route of introducing new characters and really got muddied very quickly.
But if they would have saved all those new characters instead of for the platformers with Sonic, just saved it for that awesome game that BioWare made, the RPG for Sonic, that would be totally fine. I'm just saying it doesn't apply to every genre, that purity of design.
It is strange to read through that script. Thank you. I feel like I learned a lot.
On this note, do you want to peel back that white piece of paper behind you? Just the white one. There we go. If you want to just rip that off there, it's a new set dressing. If you're only listening to the audio version, check out the video version of this set.
Watch out, Miyamoto. I think Hanson's coming for you.
I now wish I would have talked to Miyamoto about it when we interviewed him at E3.
Yeah.
They were talking about Color Splash. I wish I would have remembered to bring up that whole choice and just
say, why'd you do that?
I licked his feet
just
out of praise and then said, "You blew it so hard. Don't do this."
Don't do it.